Hello friends, it's a beautiful day in hardcore Minecraft. This is episode 2 of Modding Hardcore, where I make updates to various aspects of Minecraft. My mod allows us the ability to fish automatically using nets, so in this episode, we will establish a fishing industry that will collect unlimited fish for us, equating to emeralds, food, and time efficiency to focus our attention on greater goals. The first thing I think we need to deal with is my axe and my shovel. Oh, never mind, I already made backup, so that's perfectly fine. So for this episode, my plan is to build a fishing hut, which is probably the title of this video, so you guys got that. But I don't want to only do that. I think the general plan of this world is that I want to progress slowly and reasonably, and I don't want to progress too far before I am able to farm most of the essentials that I need. So what I need to do this episode, and for every episode in the future, assuming I have time and can remember, this is going to be for like the smaller project episodes. If I'm going to spend an episode working on a mega base or something, I'm probably not going to do this. But every episode, I want to build 3 farms, at least, that are going to automate something that we need a lot of in this world. In addition to that, this episode we have a new update of reasonable progression out, adding everything from here to here. So we have buoys, we have message in bottles, we have salmon trophy, barrel of fish, driftwood, algae growth, reeds, and drift bark that we are going to be able to use to decorate our base. The first farm that we are going to be building in this episode is actually a vine farm. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, and it doesn't even have to be big, but I need somewhere where I can mine vines and not worry about it making my base look weird or making the area around my base look weird. So we're just gonna go to the swamp, trim the bottoms off of a bunch of vines, and then plant them on our base on a little, like, drying rack looking thing. So let's do that first. Now, in terms of looks, I think this is really good. In terms of functionality, I built it way too close to the water, and we're barely going to get any vines from this. But I don't know how often I'm going to need to farm vines anyway, so at one point we're just going to end up making a bigger vine farm. But I think it serves its purpose, and the way I made it, it's segmented, where it, like, goes up and then crosses off. So if I really wanted to farm more, all I really have to do is build a second layer of this right on top. So, I think it's fine. And the reason we needed vines is not just for vines themselves, but there is a new block, the algae growth, that we can make with vines in this new update. And reeds, we're going to show off both of them now. It costs 6 sugarcane to make a reed, and it's supposed to be 6, and that's definitely a bug. But we can also use the vines to make algae growth with 1 water bucket and 6 vines to make 6 algae growth. And algae growth is a very good block for decorating because it's similar to pink petals, where you can place it 4 times on the same block. And we can use this for decoration around our base. But an even cooler thing is it can be waterlogged, placed underwater like so. So we can decorate our waterways around our base with the algae growth. Maybe we can put our new algae growth block on our vine farm. That looks pretty decent. Like so. Yeah, that serves its purpose. And then the reeds are really cool because they can only grow underwater, but you can also build them as long as the stem, the bottom part, is in the water. It can grow out of the water too, so we can use this to decorate around our water area. So what I think I'm going to do is I'll take note of this in my plans for this episode, and I'm just going to plant reeds right here. And over time this episode, I'll be checking on the reeds, growing them, harvesting them, and then at the end of the episode, we can place them around our starter island for decoration. The vine farm is complete, and the next thing I want to farm is silkwood. And I do not believe we even got a single silkwood sapling in the last episode, so we're gonna have to go on a mini adventure to find some. If we look at our map, we haven't explored this way yet, so I'm thinking that's where we're gonna go. There's another new feature in this version of the mod that is suspicious treasure on beaches. And now that we're in new territory, we can actually look for this thing. Oh, there's one right there, exposed in the water. Suspicious treasure can be found on beaches, and it has a chest below it, right here, that features new items from this version of the mod. We have an ore, we got fish, and the coolest part, we got a message in a bottle. There are, I believe, 8 randomized messages, and I'm just going to add more every update, and it'll be a fun challenge for the viewers to see if they can collect them all. We got another one right here. Silkworm, driftwood, raw iron nuggets, pufferfish, a second message bottle. Alright, let's check out the messages. First message we got, subscribe to Costina. Next one we got is, aren't you glad, laddie, that your oars ain't appeared out of air no mo? Some of these messages are tips for the mod, so this one is alluding to the fact that you need oars for boats now. But this one's just subscribe to Costina.
Rose, let me on the raft.
I'm sorry, Jack. There's no room.
Shut your bitch up. It's a barge. Pull me up so we can row to shore.
I can't pull you up, Jack. I'm just way too cold.
I hate you.
Oh. So the reason that we're farming silk trees is because silk tree leaves drop string when broken, and I want a string farm for something that we're going to be doing later in this episode. The tough thing is that this is right next to a pillager outpost, so let's hope they don't spot me. Oh, there's another one right there. Get out of here. Get out of here. I don't have enough arrows for this, buddy. Leave me alone. I have a minor amount of PTSD because of the pillager outpost we took on in episode 1. But this is going to be much easier because we actually have items right now. Maybe this bee is trying to tell us something. Yo, bee, is there any... It was trying to tell us something! Yo, okay, we got algae growth, we got a message bottle, we got adrenal glands! Let's use this message bottle and see what we get. Chicken butt. Are you kidding me? My island is way too small to fit a silk farm, so instead, I spent some time constructing a bridge that'll give me access to a larger island to build on. Alright, so I have finished the first bridge that is going to take us to where our fishing hut is going to go in this episode, and we're going to have to cut down this tree to build it, and probably do a little bit of expansion, but then the second bridge is going to curve around to this spot right here, where our silk farm is going to go. So I need to go grab my materials again, because I just put them away. Alright, here are our 2 bridges, and they are looking very rickety and very nice, exactly what I was going for. I would like to add something a little more to both of them, because this one looks a little bit flat. I just don't have enough campfires right now. And this one, there's some parts that look a little flat, but in general, because of the shaders, the water below it just feels very boring. Bland, because the water is very see-through and clean, which isn't what a swamp's water should look like. So there's more to be done, but not sure we're going to get to that this episode. We'll see. We'll see what I'm feeling. So before we build the silk farm, I am going to make some more campfires and add them to the further bridge. Okay, now that the bridge is done, we have to start our silkwood farm. The next thing I want to do is take our vines and turn them into algae growth, and this recipe is needlessly tedious because we can only make 6 at a time since we need a water bucket. And the next ingredient for our silkwood farm, I think, is going to be mossy cobblestone. And the reason is because I want to build a perimeter around where we do the silkwood farm with the mossy cobblestone. I would also like if we could do something more upbeat and bright for the ground around the silkwood farm. And I think I have the perfect idea. Okay, so I've collected a bunch of items that I want to use to decorate our silkwood farm that's going to go over here. But the very first thing we need to do is clear out this area and grow some grass. We have a small patch of grass blocks over here that I can connect to the rest of the area in order to fill this up with some luscious grass. And it's going to take a while to get that done. But sounds like a good opportunity for a time lapse and to catch up on the day counter with scurvy. So we might as well. I don't know how many days that took, but it's now day 44, and it took forever for the grass to grow in this area. Technically, I didn't have to wait for it to be done growing, but I needed a reason to AFK my way to catching up with Scurvy's day counter on his world, so that's what we did. Now our next task is to put rocks around this area, probably just the outside, to serve as our natural border. And for this, I'm not just going to use flat, mossy cobblestone, normal mossy cobblestone like we have in our inventory. I'm going to use algae growth that I showcased at the beginning of this episode, and we are going to use different variants of the cobblestone in our inventory. So do I have any more? I do have a little bit of mossy cobblestone here. Alright, let's connect our wall to this rock right here, and we're just going to bring it across the back over here. There we go. That's the basis of our wall. Now, similar to how they form when they spawn naturally in Minecraft, we're gonna start building this up in a cross shape, sort of like this. That works, and then like that. And we're just gonna start building this up so it isn't just a one thick wall going across the entire thing. Let's add levels to here, let's add levels to here, let's add levels to here. Now all we have left to do is sprinkle some walls and some slabs around here to make it look slightly less man-made. And there we go, now we have a mossy cobblestone wall. And let's add some algae growth to this thing because we need a reason to use this block today. So let's just go around. Now what I want to do to decorate the silk section, and we should probably get our silk saplings first so I know where they're going to go for now. But we're going to use sunflowers to place next to the wall, and then we're going to do a layer of dandelions, and then we're just going to bone meal the rest of it so it looks a little bit more lively. Okay, so let's start with a too thick layer of sunflowers, and that is kind of frustrating that the sunflowers face the other way. Does that mean I should place them over here? I guess that works, but from the water... Yeah, that's not gonna look good from the water. Hopefully it'll look better once we've bone mealed the place. Now, let's put our path that's gonna go through the thing along here. And then our dandelions will go on the other side of the path. And then on the other side of our dandelion layer will be our trees. So let's place a ton of dandelions just along here. And there we have it, our silkwood tree farm. Let's destroy this. Alright, I'm gonna have to move these trees to a different spot because I get the strong sense that uniformity is not how I'm going to make this look good, and I kind of just built them in a straight curve. So we're going to destroy these trees, but before we destroy them, we have to harvest them for their string, because that was the whole point of building this. And we actually have one more farm to do before we get on with the main project of this episode, and that is going to be a wheat farm. Not because I plan on eating bread forever, because we already have a potato farm. I want to build a wheat farm because I want to use packed mud for building. Packed mud is really good for pathing, and I would like to pair it with terracotta someday. And if we can get the first step of building those cooler paths done this episode, then that is going to make getting there a lot easier. So, we're going to do that, but first... and we will see if those grow. But we have... our trees are now in different spots, our path now has coarse dirt along it, and there's more decorating that can be done, but we're not going to get to it right this second, because you guys care about the cool stuff, and we're gonna do the cool stuff in just a few minutes for you, probably, but like 7 to 8 business days for me. I need to build a wheat farm. Alright, so our 3 farms for this episode are complete. Our vine farm over here, then we have our sunflower and dandelion field, that is our silk/string farm, and then we have our 3rd farm, which is a wheat farm. I just know that I'm anticipating myself using packed mud for pathing in this world, and I figured I should get a massive wheat farm done now, so that in the future, when I am farming mud and am ready to use packed mud, I'm already ready. And I called this farm massive, but in terms of early game, it's really not that big. I'm sure we'll make something bigger in the far, far future, but I am never going to use this much wheat otherwise. Now, the next thing we have to work on is this island here, which is going to house our fishing hut and our docks that are going to have the 3 new types of boats in this version of the mod. The first thing we gotta do is get rid of this tree. But actually, I already planned this build, so the real first thing I'm going to do, because I find it a little bit more fun, is go find the 3 biomes with the 3 wood types I need for this build that I haven't discovered yet, and then we have to go treasure hunting on beaches to find the special items that I have not yet acquired. Because not only is this going to be a fishing hut, it is going to be a showcase of all the new fishing items in the latest version of my mod, which include the buoy. Can I actually get the buoy? I guess I kinda can. But it's gonna take some work. I don't think I have redstone yet. Then we need the salmon trophy, which is pretty easy, the fish barrel, which is pretty easy, driftwood, which can only be found in treasure and naturally spawn, drift bark, which is crafted from driftwood, algae growth, which we've gotten at the beginning of the episode, and reeds, which we got at the beginning of the episode. Okay, the trees have been acquired, and now all I have to do is find those treasure chests on the beaches. We need some driftwood. We actually need a lot of driftwood, and unless we find a swamp, it's going to be pretty hard to get the quantity that we need, because driftwood is basically just a small fallen log, and you're able to connect them to each other to make a pretty cool fence design. So that's what we're going to be trying to do here, but not if I can't find any. So hopefully we find a swamp on the way home. This is my second relatively large beach. Oh, we just found one. Sweet. Web cluster, barrel of fish. That's one of the ones I was looking for, so that's sick. Gold nugget, tropical fish. Which message did we get? I think I have this one already. Let's throw that out. I want to see if I can collect all of them by the end of this episode, but I doubt I can, because I am going to stop looking for these things as soon as I get the materials I need. But I also intend on adding more messages over time, so it's very possible I just never collect them all because I keep adding more. But how about this? If you guys have any good ideas for a message in the bottle to add, then let me know, and top comment will get added to the mod. Food supply runs slim. My ship gone down I don't even know ago. Starting to wonder if there was room for Jack on this door. Huh. I wound up making my way to a swamp in order to collect the driftwood that I was looking for the fencing of my fishing hut. And then once I collected those, it was time to start the build. I actually just found a natural pink sheep. This is my first time finding a pink sheep in like 8 years. Okay, so I spent a ton of time collecting all the items that I would need for this build. I have a majority of it here, and the things that I don't have in here are crafted from the woods in here. Editing me is going to have to blur this out, but I have screenshots of what I am going for in my essentials catalog, and I'm now realizing I have to go grab barrels from my base, so I'll go do that while I'm talking. And here is my fishing hut being built courtesy of the mocap mod. This is what I have to use as opposed to flashback, because my mod that I use for this series is a Neoforge exclusively, which doesn't have flashback or replay mod. The next thing we have to do after building this hut, I guess the first step would be putting in our storage. I want to have storage all throughout this attic up here, and this attic is also going to contain barrels of fish, which don't actually serve any actual function in the game, but they look nice as decoration, so we'll place that in there. We'll put an extra one there. Oops. And then down here we have a lot of creative liberty we can take. And I believe what I designed in the creative world was a couch out of mangrove and cherry. So we get 3 mangrove signs, we only actually need 2. And then we get our cherry signs, and then we go in here. And the couch was on this side, but originally in the creative world I forgot that I'm gonna have to get a way to go on this porch in the first place, because originally the wall was just flat here. But now what we can do is put the couch on the back wall. And originally I had a fireplace simply because I needed something to pair with the salmon trophy, but having a fireplace in a wooden house on the water just makes no sense, so we don't need to be doing that again. But what we do want to do is place the salmon trophy right here. I don't know about that one. I wish I could place it in between blocks. How would it look outside if I place the salmon trophy there? Is that going to interfere with the window? It's not. That actually looks pretty decent then. I'm okay with putting the salmon trophy on the window. And then other than that, I don't think I have much more decoration to do. I was going to put an adrenal gland on an item frame, but I didn't end up doing that. One more thing we can do, I actually need to go get vines from the vine farm we made at the beginning of this episode, and we are going to craft a ton of algae growth, this block in our inventory. What I did before is I did a trim with the algae growth across the build like this. So if we do that against the walls here, that adds a little bit of extra aesthetic. And our base is now done, our new fishing hut. So I guess the last things we can do is I might want to sleep on a fishing trip, so why not put a bed in here? Last thing we need to do is build our fishing dock, where we are going to have 3 new vehicles, the wind raft, the fishing raft, and the fishing barge, and then we are also going to build grids of collection nets for automatic fishing. So we have the fishing raft, we have the fishing barge, over here we have the wind raft, and over here we have a proper boat. So now our docks are filled up with all the boats we could ever need, and we have 33 collection nets left that we can use for our fishing. Our fishing hut looks very good. I'm very pleased with this. I like how we use the driftwood as fencing, and then we have this new drift bark and driftwood, and these water reeds as vegetation in front of the house, as well as the nylacane flower. And then we go up here and we have storage with our fishing barrels, another new block, and our algae growth, another new block. And then we go over here, and I forgot this was this episode because I've been working on this episode for so long, but we have our sunflower field with our silk saplings. We have our wheat field. Over there, we built our vine farm. So, yes, this was an absolutely loaded episode. I have no idea how it turned out in the editing because I haven't even started yet. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching, and there's an Enderman behind me.